In this experiment, you're going to be given a series of words on the screen, and we'll warn you this time, you do have to remember them. So we're trying to remember these words. And so the screen will flip automatically, and you will write down the words at the end, so you're going to need a piece of paper and something to write with for this experiment. Okay, so I'm going to give you a brief break from all those words, and you're going to write down as many of the states as you can. And that should say United States. You have 3 minutes. Go. All right. So now turn your paper over a number from 1 to 56. You'll see the words on the screen. For each word, you're going to write yes if you think the word was presented at any time during the experiment, and no if you don't think the word was presented earlier. If you have any questions, let me know, but whenever you're ready, yes for words you saw, no for words you didn't. Here we go. Okay, so let's score the data. You're going to count up the number of yes responses you gave for the following numbers. You'll write down that total and label it studied items. And then you'll count up the number of yeses that you gave for the short set of numbers here and write that down and call it critical lures. Finally, you'll count up the number of yeses for this third set of numbers and call that the weakly related lures. And then you'll get a total number of responses for the unrelated lures. Okay, so you'll have 4 answers: studied items, critical lures, weakly related lures, and unrelated lures that you'll turn in online. So what's going on? This is a replication of the famous Roediger-McDermott paradigm. It's called the DRM, and that stands for Dease, Roediger, McDermott, because they had replicated an original study by Dease in the 1960s. And what happens is there's 4 types of words. Studied items were the words you actually saw during the experiment, so those are what you got right. Many of the study items are related to each other. The critical lures are words that were not presented in the experiment, but they're related to the items that you saw. So that is where false memory comes in. The weakly related lures are also not presented, but they're only sort of related to the items you saw. And the unrelated lures were things you never saw and shouldn't have said yes to because they're unrelated to anything in the study. So some sample stimuli here. The studied words are the ones on the bottom, so mad, fear, hate, apple, vegetable, orange. These words on the top are category labels for all of the rest of them listed. So it's easy to get confused if you saw the word king or not, because there's so many words that are very similar to king, and that's sort of a category label for them. Okay, so those are the critical lures. So what we're hoping to see in the results is that you'll get about half of the studied items correct. That's this column here. You will get about half of the critical lures, some people more, some people less. And then these other ones will be down here because you didn't see them and they're only sort of related. And often what happens is the critical lores are recognized just as often as our studied items. So this is a quick and easy way to give people false memories, so memories of things they think happened but actually didn't. So go get online, turn in the number of studied items, critical lores, weakly related lores, and unrelated lores to complete this experiment. And so what the idea is here is that it's gist-based memory. So it's part of a semantic network. So sleep is one of the most famous ones of this study, and that all of these words that you've seen are just sort of related to sleep. So by activating all those other words, we are going to remember that we saw sleep because everything else is pointing to sleep. Okay. There's some criticisms of this stuff in the sense that this seems sort of fake. I can easily get you to remember words you didn't see by activating all of the things that are related to it. So how often does that happen in real life? But really, Roediger and McDermott were really trying to show that this was easy to do during the heyday of studying. Well, that can't happen. People won't remember things they didn't see. That seems silly. And they were able to show, oh yeah, they do, and it's actually really easy.